into the feet a little bit. Shoulders back, so we've got a nice open chest, rib cage down, weight into the feet and lengthening up through the back of your head. So a nice, slow, easy breath. Once you're in position to hold it, we're going to activate the pelvic floor a little bit. So we're going to tighten the pelvic floor and draw up through our body. So remember, when you tighten your pelvic floor as you breathe out, you should feel a little pull low down. Draw that up behind the belly button, behind the rib cage. See if you can lift your heart, your collarbones a little bit, and then breathe in and release it off. So first of all, find your breathing rhythm. Get used to how you breathe, because we don't want to change it too much. We want that breath to be nice and easy, so you're not really trying to force anything. And then as you breathe out, lift up through the pelvic floor, pull up through the centre. See if you can hold that, and then breathe in, release off. So keep your good posture throughout. And then as we breathe out, we're going to lift up through the pelvic floor. We're going to squeeze the bottom a little bit. Push into your feet and see if you can soften one knee. And just bending one knee. Keeping your hips still. So try and keep your tailbone drop right down. Try not to let it lift or push forward. So as you breathe out, lift up through your core, squeeze your bottom. So if you do find this difficult, do it a bit faster. As fast is much easier. And then see if we can slow it down a bit. Lovely. Keep those hips nice and still. So we can do a couple more each side. From there, we're going to go into a standing roll down. So soft knees, chin tucked in, trying to move through the spine. Pushing into the feet, tailbone down, stacking your spine to come back up. So take your time, make sure your chin is tucked in, make sure your knees stay bent. Really thinking about the movement is through your spine. So it's not a head movement. It's about really trying to get each bone to do a little tiny movement, a little tiny roll over. Okay, let's try a couple more. Back of your hip to touch the wall, back of your rib cage, you're going to sit nice and tall. Same idea, but stricter. So chin tucks in, roll through your neck, and then rolling through the spine. it doesn't matter. Push into the sitting bones, really working through the back. Trying to find through the spine, so through the back of the body, you're trying to move one bone at a time. If it's pulling further down the way you're moving, it just means you've got some tight tissue. So what you can do is not just move bone by bone, but move in and out of joints if you feel the tissue pulling, or even if it feels tight around certain joints. Just remember to keep the chin in, the shoulders back. Lovely, let's try a couple more. So moving bone by bone. Don't forget to breathe. Because it's really hard to get quite low down when we're doing it this strict. If you want to, you can kind of lean forward, elbows on your knees. Push your sitting bones into the floor, keep your chin tucked in, and just see if you can uncurl up a bit. The same idea, but working more on the lower back. Excellent, so a couple maybe doing it in reverse. So forward, chin in, push into your sitting bones, so you can uncurl it up the wall, just about halfway, and then relax back down and forward. And I'm going to finish seated in really good posture. So make sure your sitting bones are sitting into the floor. Relax your ribcage back, relax your shoulders back, and just draw up through the spine. So we're going to rotate round. We're going to try and move, rotate, kind of high up in the spine rather than just this bit by the waist. So you can put your hands anywhere where that gives you a sort of a guideline, yeah? So you know you're moving here. I find if I put my hands somewhere there, I remember that's what I'm doing and I try not to move here so much. Sit heavy into your hips, pull up through the back of your head. Try to relax your legs. As you breathe out, lift up through your pelvic floor and your core, and then try to twist as high up in your spine as possible. Try to keep your shoulders level. So again, it might even be that you want to focus on your shoulders more. So there's not really, hand positioning is not important. It's just about you thinking about where you want to work. So for me, I find it quite nice to open the chest through, shoulder blades back, and also that makes me think that because I can feel my fingertips here, that I'm working quite high up. But remember to think about where you're twisting from. It is your spine. Rotation in this area is so important. Movement through the thoracic spine, because it can actually cause you to overuse your lower back. So as you exhale, you're lifting up through your core, you're rotating. When you get to the end of the movement, just stop. Make sure you're all lined up still. Take a breath. Re-engage your core as you breathe out and see if you can go a little tiny bit higher and a little tiny bit further. And wherever your hand position works best for you. We'll do a couple more each side. Last ones. As always, have a little move around. Yeah, lovely. So we're going to come down and do a little bit more mobility, and then we're going mobility into strength. So we're going to be on our backs, feet and knees. So work it width, but we're just going to drop those knees in and take those feet a little bit wider. Neutral spine, so we're on the back of the hips. Rib cage relaxed, shoulder blades relaxed into the floor. Need something under your head, please put something under your head, but just chin tucked in, that's all we need. We're going to take the arms up, place the palms together, relax your shoulder blades into the floor, make your hips heavy. You're going to try and rotate, so it's just really what we've done, but a bit stricter. So now you can feel on the floor, let your back relax, lift up through your core. So we're rotating the same place as we did earlier. So you're going to try and move onto one shoulder blade. I want you to keep your back really relaxed. And come back to centre, breathe in. As you breathe out, lift up through your core, relax your shoulders. See if you can rotate onto one shoulder blade without tensing your lower back, without trying to arch. Breathe in the centre. Lovely, so feel that rolling. Try not to let your hips move or your legs. Excellent, that's lovely. Try and keep the arms nice and straight. Let's have one more at each side. And we're just going to relax the arms by the side. Take your feet and knees together. Make sure you're still lined up. If you want to, you can take your arms wider. Relax your shoulder blades. So this time we're twisting. We're moving the hips, so try not to just move your legs. Move from the hip, but remember that is actually rotation through your spine. So roll the hips. Feel that rotation creep all the way up your back. So don't even think about what your knees are doing. Twist from the hip, feel that your spine is rotating. Keep your shoulders heavy on the floor. So this is mobility to start with. So just try and make sure that your back is not arching. So as you start to roll, if your back is tight, you will try and arch the move. I want you to make your back really heavy. Let it go. So then it should rotate better. Slow, easy breath. Now at the moment we're thinking about mobility, and when we return we're using lots of muscles to bring that movement back. So what we're going to do is change the emphasis. So what we're going to do is try and make the muscles in the obliques work a bit harder so you feel like you're pulling across into the top side of the waist. So as you breathe out, lift up through your core, relax your legs a little bit and pull across from the bottom hip to the top side of the waist. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, gently tighten your core, but this first bit really is just mobility, so you don't need to worry about that too much. At the bottom, breathe in. As you breathe out now, relax your legs a bit, tighten your core and pull across to that top side, so it feels like you're dragging those legs back. The heavier you make your lower body, the harder it's going to be to drag them back, isn't it? In terms of core, that really is more about your support on the floor. So if you bring your arms closer to your body, you will have less stability as you roll. And this could pull your body off the floor. If you can stay relaxed, get your core to work with pulling that leg weight back a bit more. Don't forget to breathe. Draw those legs back. Try not to push into your arms. Do one more each side. And then we're going to have feet and knees hip width apart again. Make sure your back is relaxed. You're still in neutral, so you can check those hips, make sure they're level. Little gap under your lower back rib cage, relax down. So find your breathing rhythm. As you breathe out, lift up through your core and control the weight to one leg off the floor. So it isn't about the leg. Don't just lift the leg without thinking. Slow it down. As you breathe out, Draw up through your core and take that leg slowly off the floor. You should want to feel that leg is kind of heavy. You want to feel the weight of it rather than making it too active. And what should happen is you feel your core takes that weight. If your back is tensing, make it slower, make it smaller. We want to take all of the strain into the core, not into your back or shoulders. So you need to really tune into your body and think about where that stress coming from that weight is going. So that stress should be going into your core. You should feel it. You've tightened it. You should now feel it respond. If it isn't responding well, keep it small. If it is responding and you're doing okay, you can stay where you are. If you feel it's really working well, take that leg and keep moving it. And keep it kind of heavy and hard to move. If you bring your knee over your hip joint, you can actually take a breath in here. As you breathe out, relax your back, relax your shoulders, tighten your core. Now take that, just let that leg drop away. See how slowly I'm moving. As I get near the floor now, that point is quite stressful to your posture. That tension should go back into the core. So remember to move your whole leg. Don't lift and lower your foot. Draw your knee up so the whole leg comes off the floor. Make sure that core is working. Good. Let's try one more each side. Make sure so your abdomen is drawing in as you work. So be aware of how you are tensing your core. It's very easy to get into the habit of breathing rather than pushing your abdomen out when you're tensing it. You should be drawing everything in and up through your body as you exhale. So what we're going to try and do is come into tabletop. If you find it difficult to lift that second leg without tensing your back, put your hand on your knee, push knee to hand, and that little bit of tension will fire your core more and lift your other leg. Now once you're in tabletop, you want to have your knees in a position where you can keep your legs there. So if you bring your knees over your body, it's really easy. If you take your knees away a bit, just really slowly and gradually, can you feel how it gets harder? Your core starts to switch on. As soon as your core starts to switch on, stop. See if you can relax your legs but keep them in the same position. See if you can relax your back. If you cannot relax your back, bring your knees in a couple of millimeters. You need to find the point where your core is working on its own, but your back is relaxed. And even your leg muscles are a little bit relaxed. At any point you can bring your knees in and rest, or you can take your legs down one at a time and have a breather. So we're trying to find a tabletop that you can hold so that we can work from here. So this is often overlooked. People go to tabletop to do an exercise, but you've got to have a good tabletop position that's strong before you can work from it. So that's all we're trying to do. So we're going to have a couple more goes. Then we're going to release through the legs a little bit and see if we can make that work for us in an exercise. ready to release your legs, obviously bring them down one at a time, stretch them out, and you're going to try and roll, so you're turning your thigh in the hip joints. The hips don't move. Roll one hip, then the other. And maybe just shake the legs down. So we're going to make it a bit harder now, but there is a level for everyone here. So just have a little carry on stretching out and releasing those hip flexors. So if you look at what we're doing, my tabletop is here, so that you're already working a little bit. Your core's working. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the movement. It's not super fast, but it is one breath. So it's not super slow like when we lift it. You're going to tighten your core, relax your body. You're going to push your heel away, squeeze your bottom, pull it back. It's not pushing your knee away. It's from here. Squeeze, look. I'm not even locking my knee, pull it back. Now what we don't want to do is go down here if your back's going to arch. So you're going to tighten your core. Up is easy-ish. You could just do that. You can go a bit lower if you want to. But as you go there, the stress through your back increases. So your core has to be able to control it. So I will go high first and see how you get on. So, neutral spine, tighten your core, tabletop, tabletop, get into position. Find that position we just did, where your legs are fairly relaxed, your back is relaxed, your core is working. As you breathe out, lift up through your core, extend, pull back. So all core, core, core. So your core is holding that extension and it's pulling it back. That's one breath. So it goes like this. Breathe in, engage, exhale, breathe in. The higher you go, the easier it is. Make sure you're not dropping your feet on your tabletop. Lift your feet slightly, John. That's better. Don't let your legs wander on your tabletop. You want to try and keep your foot flexed. So push your heel away and draw it back. So it's a push and pull it back. Can you feel your core responding? If you can't, you should make it easier or pay more attention to what your back is telling you. Because it may be that your back is tense and you've not noticed. You can come down at any point, one leg at a time. Oh.
Hip flexors.
So stretch them out. Yeah, so they're maybe overworking a little bit. Stretch your legs out on the floor, like we did before. We'll give them a little stretch before the next one. Keep that though. So if you can, come over. We're going to come onto one knee.
No, I can't do that.
So you can stay on the floor.
Yeah.
Your stretch, if you stay on the floor.
Yeah, I remember it's down.
Push that down, push that away, and draw that down. Yeah? So this is your floor hip flexor if you want to do it. If you're coming up, you're coming into a lunge position and you're tucking your bottom under. So whichever one you're doing, you should be able to feel right in the front of the hip. Yeah? So choose one and hold it. Breathe. You want to try and lengthen, if you're on the floor, you want to lengthen that leg away, get the back of the knee as close to the floor as possible. If you're on lunge position, you want to really just tuck that hip under. Okay, let's release then, change to the other leg. So drawing the knee in, pushing that straight leg towards the floor and away as you keep pulling the other leg in. We're nearly tuck that hip right under. Lovely. Let's release off. So we're going to try and go with straight legs. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more opening into those hip flexors. Do make sure though that if you're in this position that you have relaxed your shoulders. You can stay in a nice relaxed position. Take a few breaths. Let the back relax. Imagine your pelvic floor, as you breathe out, imagine it tightening. Imagine that length through your body, tightening up through your very core, your very centre, and actually lengthening you. So you're pulling the crown of your head a little bit further away, your back is relaxing. And then releasing and breathing in. As we breathe out, lift up through your core, lengthen, and draw the front of your rib cage down your body. Make sure your abdomen is drawing in as you do this. So as you exhale, engage your core, lengthen through the back of your body, and then shorten at the front on that very top level. So you're curling the body and lengthening, which keeps your head in line with your body, and you're pulling down to use the muscles in your abdomen. So try and keep your hips nice and still. Make sure that your abdomen draws in as you come up to that curled position. Really make sure it's not pushing out. Maybe put your hands there if you need to. Draw it in and up through the body as you move. Good. Try and keep the spine nice and long even as you curl up.